Hello and welcome to Block Solid Podcast, where we talk about the evolution of the property market as well as the blockchain technologies, the newest tech that enhances and revolutionizes the world of real estate as we know it, and how we, the owners, the buyers, the renters, the technologists, the investors, the entrepreneurs, can benefit from it all. I'm Yael CEO and co-founder of Solid Block, a pioneer startup in real estate tokenization. And I'd like to welcome a very special guest and my friend, Yael Hernández Oaknín. Hi, Yael.
Hello, Yael. How are you doing? Thank you
Fantastic.
very much for the invitation.
Absolutely. I'm actually very, very excited what you guys are doing. I want to hear more today on this podcast about TokenCity, about your path to what you're doing today, your background, what brought you to blockchain and so on. So without further ado, can you tell us a little bit more about your experience? I know that you've been in tech, which is also very exciting. I get very excited about women in tech. You have a degree in management of technology. You've been working in the both sides of capital, and high tech. So tell us a little bit where you came from.
Yeah, well, originally I am an engineer, so I studied engineering and I started working like that. Slowly, I was working in more consulting projects and innovation, then technology, and then startups, and then investment, and then blockchain.
Gotcha.
So that was the path. And now there is a lot of new of opportunities that I see that are opening up with all this world of tokenization of financial assets is incredible. All the applications that are emerging every day, well, it's wonderful.
So as an engineer, when you saw blockchain for the first time, when was that? And did that click to you instantly that, this is going to be the tech for me?
Well, many years ago, that when you started exploring and everything. But when I decided to start using blockchain in my own company, it was about at the end of 2018.
Okay.
At that time, I saw I was creating a crowdfunding platform at that time, and I saw that the STOs was the evolution of the natural evolution of crowdfunding. So I decided to start. With the regulators and everything, asking them to use my regulated platform to issue STOs. So that was the first time that I started applying the technology to my business.
Understand. So you're from Spain, and you were born in Spain as well?
I was, yes.
So now when you realized you want to do STOs and you started, researching the regulation, I guess at that point there wasn't that much, right? So
Yeah.
it wasn't the specific directive of the Spanish or the EU regulator. This is how you should do raises on the blockchain, and you were building the crowdfunding platform. How did that conversation go with the regulators?
Yeah, it was really very interesting because at that time, crypto was like just after the downs of ICOs, and it was a moment that crypto were scams and wherever,
Yeah.
So the conversation with the regulator was, okay, we have a license to issue values, securities. So why can't we use this already, license to keep issuing these same securities, but we are going to tokenize those securities. So it is that we are not going to make anything different than what we have already we have been licensed to. We are just providing a ledger of technology above the license to give the investors the rights in a new format that is going to help them to make other many things related to liquidity and all the benefits related to keeping your rights in tokens instead of in a paper contract.
Right.
So the conversation were in this way, and they say, okay, if the token represent exactly the same kind of security that you are issuing through the platform, that's fine.
Gotcha. So they just said, okay, this is fine, this is good. Did they find any precedents in Europe, or did they look for anything?
I've been talking with the regulator in the European Union, and they see that a crowdfunding platform is a natural vehicle to issue STOs, but I don't know why many other platforms are not doing that. We are the only platform, the crowdfunding platform in Spain, that are tokenizing their investment. I think that people think it's not legal. So I think that there is more regulatory barriers also in the mind of many operators than really are. I
Oh,
think.
okay. That's a
Okay.
very interesting point. Yeah,
Sí.
that in general, you guys just kind of dove into it, you as a technologist, saw the opportunity and trusted the tech, and then went for it. But it's also surprising that the regulators were relatively open. But in general, you guys have a license. I guess the most important thing in compliance is that investors are solicited properly, and you guys are already licensed to do that. So
We also were really very surprised that the regulator was so open to that, because the process for the crowdfunding was slow and not so easy. And in this case, with blockchain, I think that they are being much more open. So
yeah.
I really was surprised that they say, okay, if the token represents exactly the kind of security that you are issuing, yes, you can do it. So there is a first open window to start working with.
And what about cryptocurrencies? Are you guys allowed to accept cryptocurrencies?
Not in this regulated platform is also allowed to issue securities.
Yeah.
But as I said, this was the beginning. After that, we realized that this world of crypto, the digital asset, was much bigger. So then we created TokenCity. And TokenCity provides the whole infrastructure for managing all these tokenized assets. And there we accept cryptocurrencies. There we
Amazing.
accept. Okay.
So, but can you connect the two? Are you able to accept
Sure.
the currencies from retail investors in exchange for securities?
Yes, what we have created in TokenCity is the infrastructure to create any kind of tokens. I mean, we program the smart contracts, whatever, and then we help the companies to manage these tokenized assets. And the most, innovative part is that we have created a marketplace, in which the investors can buy and sell the tokens. So the way in which we do that is that we help our clients to create their own private markets on TokenCity.
Yeah.
So in their private market, they trade with their own tokens, any kind of, the tokens they are working with, not us, there.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I understand. So you're giving them the platform to issue their own securities. So, okay, but again, can their investors come and invest in cryptocurrencies, and do you have an infrastructure to accept crypto?
Well, this is what I try to tell you. The investors can enter TokenCity, can look for the private markets, enter the private market and buy the assets there, the crypto there. So yes, but we are not listing the token. We are listing the operators. Okay,
Yeah.
we're listing the operators that trade with their tokens. Just to be clear, we are not an exchange of crypto of cryptocurrencies. We are listing private tokens. It can be utility, it can be security, mostly securities.
Understood.
But it is not like we are an exchange where you can buy Bitcoin or Ether or whatever. You can pay with those currencies, but
Okay, so I can come with Bitcoin. I can come with
Yeah.
Bitcoin and pay with that. Perfect. Okay. And again, the regulators are good with the crypto as well.
This is a peer-to-peer market. So this is a peer-to-peer around the operator. So it is that we tokenize, let's say, equity from companies. Again, we are putting a ledger of technology on the process that already the market is doing.
Okay, that's really interesting. Is there so this is a centralized environment or decentralized environment?
No, decentralized.
Interesting. Very, very cool. Okay, what has the response been so far?
I think the market is really very interested. We launched TokenCity in 2020, and at the end of the year, and at the beginning, we got a lot of interest from companies interested in issuing STOs. And now, the middle of the year, we are getting a lot of interest, most from institutions that want to enter this world, want to explore, want to see how they can tokenize their assets, they can build liquidity solutions, even connected with DeFi. I think they are still really far, but they are starting exploring this kind of solution.
Yeah. So you brought DeFi. Are you guys connected to any DeFi instruments? with the
Not
platform?
yet, but we are working with some of them. For example, we are working with exploring MakerDAO, for example, to be able to put the security token as collateral. We are also in conversations with Balancer to use the protocols to provide more liquidity to our clients.
Okay, that's amazing. So hopefully using DeFi tools to facilitate liquidity in the market, and then
Sure.
connecting the institutions that are, obviously looking for that, because they're experiencing a lot of the drain of resources. People are taking their money out of pension funds and putting it into crypto. So the natural evolution is to not have them take it out, but instead manage that money in their behalf, right? And invest in
Exactly. Exactly. Even there are some institutions that are already considering, but here, a financial institution letting their clients invest in digital assets.
Yeah.
So they don't have already the market solution, but they are working on that. Like banks, I mean, considering offering that kind of product to their clients
Yeah.
because it's natural. It's going to happen, I think.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And they don't want to miss out. I think like
Yeah.
this market is definitely governed by FOMO, fear of
Mhm.
missing out. So, and I think that you're ahead of the game, and it's amazing. I love what you guys are doing, and I hope that the European institutions are going to be as quick as some of the US institutions. In fact, there are quite a few now that are jumping on board and at least allowing some staking products, stable coin products that have already been allowed. In the United States, 5 days ago, there was a directive from the SEC to the federal credit unions to allow them to provide a service for their members to invest in cryptocurrencies, which I thought was major, major news, which was kind of overlooked by the crypto market. But when you get to that level, that federal credit unions can now invest, allow their users to invest in crypto, it becomes mainstream, in my opinion. Or at least that's basically a signal. The government says crypto is safe, right, to a certain extent.
I agree, completely agree. Yeah.
Yeah. So I hope that that Europe also gets on board. Although in many ways Europe is a little bit ahead of the U.S. With certain developments. So what about your company, TokenCity? So how many people are you? What is the makeup of the company? What are your goals for 2022?
Yeah, well, our goal is completely developing the marketplace
Yeah.
that I mentioned you. First, I mean, attracting operators working in a private market and then working in public markets. In 22, we will open the marketplace so that investors can enter Token City to find the operator and to buy the token. Now it's private markets, okay?
Yeah.
So this is the one of the main goals for 22. Regarding the team, we are 11 persons. More than half are the technical team.
Amazing.
And then well the other, I mean, communications, operations, and me.
Amazing, amazing. Okay, and what do you think about specifically the real estate market and the tokenization of real estate vis-a-vis maybe other types of assets? Where do you think is the biggest potential, and where is it going to go?
I think there is a great opportunity to use those assets as collateral. I think that the tokenizing real estate and to let these secure assets to be used as collateral in all these DeFi protocols can be a very, very, very interesting application.
Yeah, absolutely. I think as a base asset, as a way to keep some of your portfolio stable, it is probably the prevailing asset, the real estate. And it's always been, and I think that's going to be its role in the DeFi space. But adding DeFi products on top of already yielding product, which is real estate, can actually double the yield in certain circumstances. So, I think it's definitely the future, if you ask me. Man, I think that we have a great opportunity to work together. You with your infrastructure, and we're planning to put a few assets on TokenCity, and we're working on that. And I think that in 2022, we're going to see a lot of interesting news coming out of both of our companies and the successful cooperation. So tell me a little bit about your personal, let's say, hobbies and activities. If you have any free time, do you have any interesting things that you do?
Well, it's difficult these times to have free time because I'm so passionate about that anytime that I have free time, I start reading more and more things. But no, well, being with family and friends and traveling, and I mean, I would like to make more sport.
Yeah, all of us. So what are you reading? What do you recommend for us to read to get more, more information, news, and ideas?
I participate in forums, for example. I mean, it's like continuously people sharing information in the internet, and there is not a specific, let's say, read that book or read this other, or. But I mean, this kind of forums, people sharing information and sharing news and entering and being, I mean, updated on new things. This is what I recommend because it's going to be much more agile than. Well, if you want to go to the basics, yes, you can take a book about blockchain and about DeFi and about all this. There are a lot of books on that. Okay.
Very cool. Yeah, I mean, I also browse Discord groups regularly. Especially about NFTs and about regulation and all the WhatsApp and Telegram groups that we have from different industries for sure to follow. But I definitely really like Discord for all the tech talk and just getting the new news about the different blockchains out there. A lot of times, people are asking, what are your tokens on, and do you have any other plans, and so on and so forth. So definitely technical knowledge. That's not something that you can even pick up on the news sites, right? So we recently went on a quest to evaluate the new blockchain for permissioned layer that we're building on Solid Block, and we had to go and evaluate 20 or 30 different layer one blockchains. Layer one is a basic one like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and so on and so forth. So what about your tech? So you guys are using Ethereum, or do you have any other plans? What is
we started using Ethereum. Now we are using Polygon most of the time. All right. For fees, mainly.
Okay. So, but you guys are not connecting to, I guess, to any other secondary markets. I guess you're built in sort of a DEX, like a decentralized exchange within your system.
We are connecting. We are starting signing agreements with other markets that are emerging, and also with aggregator. For example, we're having conversation with STO market and conversation with exchange, also security token exchange that are emerging in Singapore or in, but it is also, in security tokens, not in cryptocurrency. There are a lot of exchanges, but in security tokens, for regulatory reasons, there are so few spaces where you can, trade the tokens. So we have to build that and also to connect with all the solutions that are in the market.
I understand. All right. Yeah. So that's definitely an important component because, most of them still use Ethereum. So I guess if you have to connect, you either use some sort of an interoperability solution, right? In order to connect, if you're building a smart contract on Polygon, and most of them still use Ethereum. So what is the solution for that?
They are completely compatible. I mean, it is the same.
It's the same infrastructure?
Okay. It's the same. You create the smart contract in Ethereum, and the same smart contract are valid in Polygon. So we are using the same smart contracts.
Okay. That's interesting. That's very good to know. All right, fantastic, Yael. So it's been great having you on. Do you have any words of wisdom for us?
Thank you very much for the interview, and I hope that Solid Block keep working as well as you are doing now, and keep growing, and you tokenize all the real estate in the world.
Thank you.
And that we can work together then and make amazing things together.
I appreciate that. Thank you for joining me on Block Solid Podcast. Great having you with us. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or by visiting our website at solidblock.co/podcast. If you enjoyed the show, don't forget to rate and review and spread the word. Thanks for listening, and see you next time.